Yo. Hello. How you guys doing? Trying to get comfortable here. Whoa. Oh, I need to make the chat captions. There we go. There we go. Happy birthday, Canadians. You finally got a vacation? Hell yeah. How much time did you take off? Shokri, what's up? Hello. ABK, hi. Hi. Hello, Martin. And Angelina. Jamie. Polly Socks. Dawn Survival, hey, welcome. Welcome. Alex, of course, you're posting feedback requests for Sonic Action. First time stopping by. What's up? Hey, was it Higochi? It's probably something terrible, and now I'm going to get in trouble. Hello, welcome. Oh, you just joined the Discord. Oh, cool. Well, welcome. Yeah, it's I mean, we do what we do. We try and just grow as artists. And Ver, all right, I call you Ver. And we just, we look at your guys' work every once in a while on the stream, and I try and feedback on it to try and help you push quality where possible. And then then I work on my stuff on here, and occasionally we put it on pause for a little bit, but we do portfolio reviews on here as well. And all that stuff gets pushed to the YouTube channel also. Joined the Discord earlier this week. Everyone seems super friendly. That's great. That's what we want to hear. We need a supportive community. You uploaded too many pics? No, I think you're fine. I think you're all right. And dirt. Oh, I see. Let's get that post in here as well. Let's see where we're at in your... No, but if we run out of stuff to critique today, because Sunday is the only reason I hesitate to do a critique on a Sunday, is a lot of people aren't really active on the weekends, so people are missing out on getting some feedback. But that's okay. Either way, if we run out of stuff to look at, I can show you where I'm at on the altar, because I worked on it a little bit. The modularity talk was super interesting this morning. Yeah, it's because it all quote unquote depends what where you're supposed to go with it, like how you need it to work. Okay. Yeah, so those conversations are always pretty interesting, I would say, because it all depends on what you're building and what you need. But powers of two. When in doubt, powers of two. It'll solve so many problems for you in more ways than one. Yeah, everything does boil down to it. Depends. Okay, let's see if I can get us started here. I'm just getting a song on for me. You guys probably can't hear it. Well, hopefully, because I don't want to get in trouble. Fatal, what's up? Yo. But yeah, so we're going to look at your guys' stuff. I've got some of it already opened up, but don't hesitate to post it. I will copy the link to the thread in chat here. And if you guys feel like looking at that and adding anything in there, we'll see if we can get to it before the stream ends, before we hit the 2-hour mark. Oh, there we go. There's Shokri posting some stuff as well. Okay, let me see if I can... Cool. All right, let's get started. I'm just gonna put me here. I got my PureRef hiding behind me, but we'll open that up if we need to. But yeah, let's take a look. So this one is from Martin himself in chat. So hey Dan, I think I'm really close to finishing this piece and would love to get your feedback or final feedback before moving on to the presentation phase. Any thoughts on things that might look off or suggestions for improvement would be super helpful. And then let me see. I've added some color. Yeah, I noticed the color, which I think is a great addition. But after staring at it for too long, I'm unsure how I feel about it. I'd love to hear your which version you prefer. One with the color pipes and one without. I've also added some tape around the pipes. Yeah, adding a little bit of character, always a good thing. Always a good thing. What else are you saying in here? Oh, some spider webs and smaller details. Thank you so much in advance. If needed, I can post a roughness too, but I don't want to flood the channel so much. Right. So yeah, let's take a look here. Man, maybe I should put myself over here. Every time I do the zoom in thing, it looks weird if I have to like fly across the screen. So yeah, just like initial feeling is it's extremely strong. There's a lot of detail in here, but I think that, man, this looks really nice. Are you using masks for this? Like painting in masks to blend between different materials? Stencils, yeah. That's what I mean. So like actual like alphas to create that effect. Yeah, this looks really good. You can't really discount that type of detail from like painting it or using smart masks. Like this always is going to look better. It just takes time, right? So the colors you've added, I think it was a good call. It adds some like character, some variety, some surface breakup. The spider webs are interesting. I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm just trying to figure out like if there's a negative thing to it, but I don't think there is. Maybe they're a little too high in the opacity, but I would say leave them. Maybe if you were to do a render where you have not done a sharpen post-process pass on this, and then do a render with it, and then paint in where you want the sharpening to be or where you want it to be crisp, I think that is going to give you a little bit more of like a natural crunchiness, if you want to say it like that. Yeah, I'm not sure yet on the subtleness of the spider webs. I think up here it's pretty subtle, and I think here it's more prominent, but I think it's because this one feels like it's in shadow and this one is being hit by a direct light. So I think it's actually okay. I know you're trying to be pretty optimized with this one, even though there's a lot of details in here. I would watch out for the stepping here. If you can just add 2 loops here just to round it out just a little bit more, I think you'd be in a better position. Reference search was not fun for this one, trust me. Oh my God. I mean, you have a huge library of stuff you got together. So I think overall this looks pretty good. If we look at, so this is like the opposite side. Oh, this is a nice place for a web. Let's drag this in here. We'll just do this. This is why I have my pure ref over here. So you can just like drag it in like a little bucket. Ooh, I really like this angle. And we can just full screen this. I'm gonna zoom in here. So I actually really like this angle, and I think, I don't know how you do it. Align, canvas, image, selection. There's like a cropping in here, isn't there? Toggle lock, group, crop image, Control Alt Shift C. Oh, of course. Why wouldn't it be like that? Let's like doing something like this. Like that, dude, that's a thumbnail that could slap, man. People would click on that and be like, yo, what the hell is this? I need to see this. Right? Anyways, I think the colors are a great addition. Was it Control Alt Shift C? Oof, that's a good thing I have blender hands. I think this view and the colors that you're doing, I think it's good. Ooh, I like the text written in here too. This is like nice metal differences in the color as well. There, okay, here we go. I always forget how to fix this, but you can see the curves that are happening here. This is happening in your bake. I'll tell you right now, do not post with this still here. Like you got to fix that before you move forward. Yeah, blender hands. Yeah. It's just a distortion with the resolution of the cage. You can get around this by like one way you can do it is by adding extra geometry to the low poly just for that area, and then after the bake, just remove it. Yeah, what Rebreaks is saying in chat. Thank you. Yeah. So you can add extra loops just so that the cage is more rounded. And then you bake, it cleans it up, and then you just remove those loops. You could do it on just like duplicating the mesh and just running the bake against that mesh, and you keep your final mesh either way. But yeah, this is something I would definitely fix before you move forward with the beauty renders. Let's do that. And let's see what else we got in here. Dude, I like the colors, man. I like the colors. I don't know if this makes sense to have it like for writing. And the way that it's being blended is a little strange. Like this looks like it happened earlier, and then there's like information that is happening on top of it that doesn't really make sense. If you want to spray it on top like that, I think it would still be binary like this, where it was paint and now it's not paint. Other thing is maybe tone down the normal strength on the paint layer that you have here, just so that it's not so prominent, because it starts to show like a bit more of a stylized feel to it. Whereas like the initial impression is quite realistic. But yeah. Oof. Yeah, dude. I mean, this is cool. There's maybe a little bit of wear that's not happening here that I would be expecting. Like you can see you're getting a little edge highlighting going on in the, if we zoom in here, in your, I'm assuming it's in your albedo for the paint. It's very strange that it would be light around the edges like this. I would probably tone that down or turn it off. Do you see what I'm talking about? But yeah, dude, this is delicious, making my eye twitch, bro. That's really cool. Really, really nice attention to detail. Oh man, I love this like surface definition you've got going on here. Yeah, the angle is also really interesting. Is there I'd be really curious to see the alphas that you're using for your stencils. Attorney Cog, what's up, man? How you doing? I think that was your, oh right, and then you gave some like color map only. Color looks great on this. I would say I like the gradient here. Is that gradient in your roughness? Because that gradient difference, seeing that in the material is going to be really nice. Yeah, it seems like it's, I want to say that it isn't, but I could be wrong. It doesn't look like that highlight. That highlight's maybe more uniform. Oh, you had, wow, so you actually made the stencils yourself as well. Okay, I'm going to tell you straight up right now, you could probably build a set of stencils. How many did you make? Because you could probably sell those. They look, at least how they're being used here, they look really good. And you could use this as an example for how you use them. But really cool. Really, really nice. There's some tubing that I wonder if it has metalness in it, and maybe you would just make that more like a rubber material and you'd be good. Din's like, gimme. I mean, why not? You can never have enough. Use stencil packs from ArtStation as well. Nice. fifth render. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Man, it's really cool. This is really, really nice. Is that bird poop? Kind of feels like bird poop there. Great attention to detail, nice characterization of the surfaces, great roughness variety, throwing in a little bit of color. I mean, you're basically there. You're like 99% complete. I would say that 1% is the things I was highlighting, like the edge highlights here, the bake issue that we were talking about, like we call it the bake wobble. I don't know if there's a technical term for it. And then maybe the normal strength on the paint, just toned down a little bit. And yeah, maybe I mean, there's a bit of a different roughness on the paint versus if the paint was more muted, like you still want the highlight there because I think it really improves the look of it. Oh, there's this. Man, this is so nitpick. This is so nitpick. These look the same, right? These are identical. They're just rotated or something. Change it somehow. You could probably take this whole bottom piece and just rotate it a little bit and you'd be good. That looks like chipping, not bird poop. I think it's bird poop, man. I'm gonna be honest. Once you've seen bird poop, you've seen bird poop. You know what I mean? Like there's some dark specks in there. Once you've been hit by bird poop in real life, you'll unmistakably know exactly what bird poop looks like. Like there's no way around it. But really, really nice stuff. Oh, what is this? Hang on. This line here? Is that supposed to be like it looks like a bit of an artifact. I'm not sure what that is. And it starts here and it goes this way. It starts to look like welding here. And then it just kind of continues in a way where you're like, oh, okay, maybe that's not welding. I don't think it's a casting line. It's positioned in a weird way. It's an artifact. All right. I'm still okay, guys. I still got this. Really nice. Really nice. You should be extremely proud of this. This is like you've definitely leveled up. Every time you post a final piece, your quality has risen. Oh yeah, that's bird poop. No doubt. That's a mouse too. Hope that's not in your texture. Apparently, I just want to argue and be wrong today. It's all right, man. Everyone has their days. But yeah, is there anything... Thank God I haven't been hit by bird poop. I mean, judging by the comments, Turning Cog hasn't either. Is there anything else that you want me to look at with this before I move on? Oh, I like the duct tape here. The duct tape, okay. I don't really have a sense of how big this is. I guess the bolts start to help me understand it a little bit. But this duct tape makes it feel quite small. So I think I would be careful with how you're using the duct tape in the sense of its scale. You know what I mean? Because that starts to hint at how big this thing actually is. And the assumption is it's quite large. But I think the duct tape is telling me otherwise. This is maybe like a miniature. It's space duct tape. Maybe. Maybe I should write that on there, space duct tape. But yeah, I think that's it for me. Really, really nice. I like the light angle too because it allows the like inner areas to become a little bit darker, which gives you that depth and the pop, the volume, if you will. All right. Let's jump to the next one. So Still some work to do, and mainly about color grading and adding more quality to the props and more VFX. Let's okay. Let's see. Let's see what's going down here. So we got. No, too soon. Too soon. Okay, so these are both like in engine, I assume. We're getting into that weird territory. I guess they're just two different angles, right? Big fan of the banners, like these. So I think I need to see this in like video form. We need the movement. You know what I mean? Like these look like they're moving. So this, I actually quite like this view, but I like how like you can see the top part of the walkways here. This one's cool because you get a nice silhouette shape here. Like if I, what is it to draw? Control D. You get a nice like stepping effect here, which is really interesting for the silhouette, right? The other thing is like the upper area here is just purely it's rock. Yeah, they are moving as, oh, really? Cloth physics. Dude, a recording is going to look sick because like getting like a subtle movement in like the foliage, like this stuff here, this like mossy grassy stuff. Getting this to just kind of move around a little bit. These just flowing left and right, you know? It's going to look super nice. This kind of doing a swing. Maybe this is still, maybe it's swinging. I don't know. But I think, yeah, the bells are swinging a bit. Sick. I mean, you're hitting all the notes then. I think I would take the, so I see you're trying to light a path back here. Right? There's like steps that go up towards the path, so you walk this way. I would maybe I'd maybe take the brightness of that light and like half it. Maybe you don't even need to illuminate this upper area here. All you want to do is get separation between this side and this side, right? Like this is the side of the cliff here, or the rock wall. So you just need to be able to show us that this is a different surface from this surface. And I think having a light behind it that's just casting this way, maybe not as big and not as bright, will help keep this kind of mood, but here as well. So that way the focus is really on the tree. Now the reason I really like this angle is just being able to see the walkway and understand the space that the characters are standing or walking around in. These, I don't know where you're getting this character from, or if you made the character. It does look like a concept. It's pretty sick. This character, I would see if you're able to get another character pose. Maybe this one's standing there like looking up or something. Like having characters that help explain what's going on here could be nice. The thing I didn't really like about this shot, which maybe you'll just adjust it and it'll help, is so you got a lot of rocks up here, and they clip in a way where they're really close to the frame, you know? And I think if those were to lower a little bit, that would probably help. Can I just like, can I grab that? Can I just, no, I can't. Oh, kinda. Like if this If this was down here, you would see more of the sky. I think that would help with like the understanding the space a little bit. I hope that makes sense. I think it's grabbing all this. Oh, nice. Cool. Cool. But yeah, generally this is quite strong. Maybe a tad dark over here. You could probably put like a rectangle light here, shining at this, and just lower that intensity just to try and like get it to pop a bit more. Because you want to see those roots and you want to kind of see what's happening here without really seeing anything at the same time. Kind of like what you've got going on here. It's dark, but it's not black, right? I mean, I think it's all right that they're not made by you, but I would see if you can try and get like a different pose out of them. It's extremely nice though. Yeah, I want to see a video of this. I need to see like how everything is kind of reading in motion and what is moving. I really like what's going on down here. There's a lot of like, it's simple yet complex in the way that the water is feeling. And I think in movement will either make or break what we're currently perceiving. You know what I mean? Very, very nice. Are these giant bells here with like roots coming out of them? That's a nice lens flare thing going on here too. Some nice, really nice. Dude, feel free to tag me on it. I don't mind. Really cool. Yeah, the lighting is really giving you a lot. And I think which props actually are feeling like you want to add more quality to them? Because like the bell feels maybe a bit too processed in the way that it's like almost like a smart mask pass. And I think if you're doing a more intentional mask work with stencils, will help with the readability of this. Man, I think what's making it feel like a concept is the way that of course, the lighting and how soft everything is, but the colors and like how the moss is scattered on the surface here is really causing you to go like, oh, how's like this is just too detailed to be 3D, but it is 3D. It's really cool, and the shading model you've got going on for the moss is reading really nicely as well. I'm assuming you're getting a lot more color in here with the subsurface being cranked up or transmission. The foliage is not bad. It's reading pretty well, I think. I assume this is nanite, but I mean, the moss is just some really nice masks is what it looks like. But yeah, it's reading really nicely. I think the reason moss is so difficult is because it has to light in a way that you expect. So you can see like the edge is not just a sharp edge. It's it's more complex than that just because of the way you're laying out your geometry and how the alpha is sorting between itself. And then however you're setting up your shader is causing it to feel more fluffy. Which is why I think it's a bit of like a transmission adjustment that's happening. Hanging Moss is made on Blender with Ivy Gen. Ah, I see the Ivy Gen. Yeah. Yeah. Really cool. And baked on planes. Yep. So low poly. I mean, it does the trick. It gets the fidelity you're looking for. So you're not really happy with the foliage. So it's a combination of like the masks and maybe like some of the surface readability. This is really interesting. There's like stone walkways. I don't know. You seem to be putting the detail everywhere that I would kind of expect detail to be. Like there's like little crevices and those like micro details that help connect everything. That's a really important element to be having in your environments. It's kind of what melts everything together, you know? And the rocks coming from the water, you're talking about these guys. So I guess it's just maybe the shape language of them. What type of rocks are we looking at when we're building this environment? Because we've got these like more like mountainous looking ones up here, but the shapes of these ones, I like these. Maybe they just need a little bit more intention in their shape language because I like the directionality of them. Like this one feels like it's leaning, which is a little strange. You also have two different types of rock language going on. Like you've got these like spikier ones and then these flatter, rounder looking ones. Might be interesting to take some of these spikier ones, make them a little rounder or flatter like this, and then take some of these spikier ones and place them inside of these. That way you get a parity between the two languages. So it doesn't look like two different types of rocks, but it looks like how they interact with each other, how the rocks form over time. Because like usually when you get stalactites and stalagmites, those are just like mineral buildup, right? Minerals dripping off the ceiling from condensation, and it's dripping in the same spot, kind of builds up and solidifies into a spire-like shape, which is how you get your stalactites and stalagmites. Maybe there's, I don't know. I like them. I think it's just drawing a connection between these flatter ones and then these spikier ones. Just getting that communication. Like it could be interesting if you had the flatter one and then it's kind of spiking up in some spots. So you can see it's like building up. You sent let's see here. Oh, I see. I mean, I think this is maybe too much of a departure from what you have going on here. I really like this, and I like the all the lily pads that you've got in here. It's tough though. It's a tough call, man. Yeah, if you break up the language, what is it? Control D. Yeah. So you got this like this shape language, and then you have these ones. Maybe if you take this and you add a bit of the mounds to it, then you can understand how these shapes start to form. Right? So maybe this is a bit more rounded. And then it rounds out on the side there. You're already kind of doing it with this one. And you could maybe have like a smaller bump there. And then you can understand how they're put together. But that's really cool. Yeah, this is turning out great. I'm really curious to see the final results or what you consider approaching final territory. They're kind of, I mean, what I'm suggesting is to kind of head a little bit more towards that, towards like how we recognize those shapes and how they form, because having it grounded in reality helps anyone understand what's going on with it. Let's see here, but yeah, I mean, hopefully I like the color that you've got going on here. You've got warm lighting coming from the directional. You've got some nice bounce lighting happening, and then like the atmosphere is much cooler. So you're having a good balance between those. All right, Sonic. I think in Discord it's actually a dark background because it's alpha'd, right? And you have like a, let me bring this over here. You have a video of it as well. So is he sliding down a pipe? Is that the idea? This is from Alex, by the way, Alex G. Just want overall thoughts on this simple model I made for 3D printing. Did you made this for 3D? This is thank chat for the reactions. Nice. So okay, let's take this in. Oh, Madu's excited. It's okay, buddy. Oh, there we go. We get the look at the alpha, dude. This is so we'll just put them in the environment, and then we'll replace the tree with Sonic statue. Nailed it. Pretty cool. He's supposed to be on a rail grinding. It's for 3D printing. A gift for my dude. So cool. Such a cool gift. Adam is an Easter egg in the bag. That'd be really cool if you guys started Easter egging each other's work into each other's work. So let's kind of take this in first. So my initial reaction is like, okay, what is he grinding on? Figuring out how this bolts to the pipe. I think right now it feels a little strange that the bolts are going through the piece like this, right? So it's kind of hard to understand how they're connected. Also, this area might get pretty spicy when it comes to 3D printing. The next thing I was going to say, so I guess first of all, I would maybe look at doing a cut-in like this. Maybe less of these. So maybe there's 5 instead. Right? So you're doing this. Sorry, I'm doing this with a mouse, so you're going to have to forgive me and my sick drawing skills. And then you could angle it and put it into the side of the pipe, so that way it feels really like bolted in. It's clogged. The next thing I would do is definitely like open this up. It'll be better for the 3D print, but it'll also like give you a better sense of like what it is that you're looking at. Maybe the space between here and here should be wider. Like if you're to do about that much instead, it'll give you a little bit more breathing room so that everything feels a little bit more, it's easier to read how they're connected. I don't think you need this inner edge here. I would either extrude it in or pull it out, and then instead of like this depth, I would be going wider. Again, it's all about like trying to make it more readable from, because I'm assuming this is gonna be quite small. Like I'm assuming max it's printed like this big, right? I don't know what the height of this is, but anytime that you can get away from these like smaller types of details and just, you know, bake things together, like you can see it's melting together here, but like here there's some gap. I would let it just melt together. Or like have it do this, go in like on a bevel, and then meet the body. So it still meets and is like connected, but there's that little bit of a lip. That way you get the shadow here. That's a face issue from ZBrush that I need to fix. Oh, okay, yeah. But yeah, I would try and lower the amount of these and hollow this out. It'll really help the viewer understand what they're looking at. Is it supposed to be made out of like a stone? This is really cool. And what are you sculpting this in? This doesn't look like, I mean, it looks like ZBrush, but are you like Dynameshing everything together? These are going to be pretty intense on the 3D print, I think. This is nice. These like creases here. Like smoothing all this up and then getting like creases in the material is going to go a long way. Of course, like I can tell you're still getting there. The other thing I was going to mention is the flow of these. Getting them to feel more, like right now they feel a little lumpy or like clay-like, and they should really feel like they're smoothed, right? Like it goes in and then out. Trying to clean those up is gonna work you wonders as well. Ears, I don't know if aren't they supposed to be pointy? I'm not sure. And then yeah, it's just I mean I can tell you're still getting there because there's a lot of like little micro refinements to do when it comes to how these connect. Like getting that crease in there, getting this to feel like those edges to feel nice. The gaps between the fingers, yeah, these might be problematic. And I think that these gloves are usually pretty, like these fingers should probably be thicker, right? I think that's going to be like I would inflate these fingers and basically get them to, because their gloves I think are like, not for him. Interesting. Puff up. Yeah, you want the gloves to be like if we go Sonic hands. I wonder if I'm gonna get something terrible here now that I've searched Sonic hands. Okay, this one might be pretty good. Can I just drag this in here? Hey, nice. So yeah, you can see here like I would inflate the fingers to just like basically the distance from here to here. Take that and divide it by 4. Right? So 1, 2, 3, and then evenly divide them, and that would be your finger thickness because I'm just looking at like this curve here. Oh, nice. There we go. This curve here, and how they divide up is pretty even. And that thumb is meaty. What have I done? But yeah, I hope that helps. I would look at maybe exaggerating these, making them thicker. If you want, you could do a 3D print test with this now and just see what shapes are not working for the 3D printer. Because I like the ideas that you have going on here. It's just a matter of like making sure everything's going to work okay before you get really deep into it. This feels really thin right now. Maybe it's just because of like how it's being introduced right now. And I know in like the references it doesn't tend to be, let's see this one here. It doesn't tend to be like I'd almost just keep this simple and sculpt it in. This is really interesting too, these lines. Because I assume the ones I'm looking at. Amit, nice. I'm assuming this one and yours, there's like some style choices you're making that maybe I'm not seeing in my version. But you can see like. Is it shadow? Okay, hang on. I mean, you didn't tell me Shadow or Sonic. You expect me to know these things? Oh, this explains so much more. Okay. This explains so much more. Jesus. Is this one going to work? Oh, boy. Hurrah! Dude, look at that resolution. And with an alpha. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I would exaggerate the separation between these two a little bit more. It's the edgy hedgehog. Accurate. Oh, Alex is shaming me now. I'll keep critiquing your work. It's okay. Yeah, getting these clear is going to be important. And the ring, Those rings are separate from the gloves, right? Or you want to like melt them together? I would like to retract my previous statement. There's no retracting. You didn't know either, apparently. But yeah, I would do a test print. See how some of these details go. It's true. Now, I mean, now you know why I don't have your guys' chat on my screen anymore while I'm doing feedback. No, just kidding. But yeah, I think it's really cool. I think it's a great idea, and it's just a matter of checking on these details and just looking at the stuff I was highlighting, and of course, sticking to the reference that you're properly following. I think it's more about the readability of like how these shapes form, and I would maybe keep this a bit thicker. Right now, it looks like a piece of like paper stuck on. Movie design for the rings. Oh, okay. Okay, so the next time, if you ask for feedback again, let's get your references that you're following. That way, I don't yap on about the wrong direction. Looks really cool though. I think it's a great idea, and I think it's a really cool present. That you say your family member, right? That's super cool. Okay, where are we at here? Let me back out of this as quickly as possible. Okay, so we got Jay working on Micro Mayhem. We'll have some feedback on the rendering and presentation primarily. Okay. Well, the scale is crazy to me. Let's see here. So I think the main presentation comment I would give is the hang on, let me just scroll through here really quick. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I'm curious now. I'm scared. I'm doing it. Oh God. Build. Oh, hell yeah, dude. This is like me super early in the morning trying to get a fan in the bathroom. Okay, how do I do this? Oh my gosh, this is cool. Oh wow. Oh my god. Okay. Where are we at here? Is that the bottom of it? So I think having context of these is going to be important. Like showing screenshots of the actual environment context of the usage of the props, I think is going to be really key for the presentation. Because you don't understand like why some things are the scale that they are. Generally the modeling looks fine because of like what you're trying to build it for. Presentation wise, I would say right now everything feels like it's floating. Right? So like the way that the props are resting on the ground, you get a little bit of contact here, but the contrast of the shadows is so light compared to the floor itself that you don't always understand how things are meeting the ground or the floor. I would suggest having it in the context of the scene. You know what I mean? Like, let's see if we can. So having stuff in the context of the scene of like having an object or the tile in the background, or just having everything around it so that you understand, oh, okay, this is a smaller object, and you have the environment to go off of as well. And yeah, I think that's the main thing. I mean, this is for an actual project as well. Oh, this is a game jam. Okay. Dude, that's cool. So what I would say on this asset here is I'd make these bevels larger, just so it reads a little easier. But yeah, generally it's just context and like grounding all of the props. Man, those are all modeled, aren't they? So they're actually stacked with a rounded corner. Pterodox, what's up? How you doing? Man, that made me think about pterodactyls. Crazy. 3D artists on Twitch. Hell yeah. We've been here for like, I don't know, 7 years or something like that. I've been streaming for a while. Not in one go, of course, but yeah, welcome to the stream. Yeah, okay. Man, I swear this is actually in our hallway right now. This exact plant. Same formation and everything. I didn't turn off the stream for 7 years. I knew I was going to get that comment. This is the other thing is I'm wondering like what this pipe's for. Like where was that used? It's cool though that you guys put together like a little like it's like a game jam. 1 month long. That's pretty meaty. Usually game jams are like a couple days max, right? But yeah, happy to have you, Pterodox. Gourmet pizzeria, dude. Pizza. Oh, phone numbers. Ah, this is a good one. Okay, phone numbers. There's a set of phone numbers you should use whenever you're making content. They're I forget what they're called. They're like movie phone number. Already did that. 0121. What do you mean you already did that? So every phone number that is fake has to have the 555 in it for fake usage. They've actually been created for all movies and for video games now. Like they use the same list. Oh, nice. Okay, so the UK has a different set of phone numbers. Interesting. That's good to know. For media. Nice. Yeah, phone number for anyone who does not know that there's a set of phone numbers. I guess there's a set of phone numbers in the UK and a set of phone numbers in the US for like film and or media rather. Interesting. Only other thing I would say is like you're doing here, showing maps and like how you're texturing things, roughness, metallic maps, your base color. Context is always important. Like this video says a whole lot. And if you don't ever click that video, you have no idea what this is about. But yeah, cool. Really cool. Okay, Angelina. Let's dive into this. I'm gonna just drag these in here. Got your mud in there as well. Okay, this one. Let's grab this one. Everyone's like traumatized because I always ask them for like, what's your roughness look like? Is the order I want to see. There we go. Nailed it. Okay, so we've got our concept here. Bruh. So this one, this is the current progress. Here, I'll go up to the actual piece so far. So this is the current progress. Got a few questions. How do I make the main walls with windows look less flat? Main wall with windows, this one, I assume. Any tips on how to work with cloth? Do I need Marvelous Designer or ZBrush for that? So, okay, I'll answer that here in a second. Pretty sure you fought there in PF1. I feel it. What would you work on next? With my what are my priorities? Anything else you want to point out? Any feedback? Always so helpful. Okay, and then there's the dirt. Nice. Toy. Okay. So let me just kind of take this in for a little bit here. Looking at the shot. fake roughness maps out of fear, dude, I'm just gonna waste their time. They're gonna waste my time, and I'll waste their time. We won't realize it, and I'll just be like, "Ah, this roughness looks all wrong. What is this?" Okay, initial feelings is this is pretty nice when you look at it with the scene. I can see you're starting to get the groundwork going on too. Let's look at the building here. So be really careful with the mirror here that you've got going on in the texture. You can just see the pattern here. Right? So, I mean, I'm assuming that's a pretty easy fix. This is pretty nice. Minor understatement, bro. Bro cooked. I would never. I see everything. How did you not? Did you see these patterns, man? What's really interesting is it's not here, so that's cool. Okay, so to get more depth out of this, so there's like this seam here with the way that at least it feels like a seam. I don't know. It's a little low res, so I can't tell the difference there. If we come down, what's making this feel like there's depth to it is a lot with the lighting, right? So, oh, nice. Okay, hang on here. I gotta learn these hotkeys. So you've got this like shadow that's cutting in, right? And you can see that the shadow is it goes over the shapes and it actually follows the shape of the wall, right? So that's giving you that sense of depth. So what you're probably going to want in here is to try and, like this right now, your shadow is extremely soft. So you probably want to sharpen this up, or like, yeah, sharpen the shadow up, and then try and simulate that same thing, and maybe make your shadows not as light, like the ambient lighting that's filling your shadows. Lowering that will help with being able to understand the depth differences, right? Because I can see the shadow is there. It's just really soft, and it's not too dark. There's definitely going to be a balance there, but I think sharpening this up initially is going to help a lot. Let me see what else we got going on here. The other thing is, like when you look at the concept, you can see how bright. Oh my God, let's go. You can see how bright it is here, and especially here. This area, this whole like side thing here, this, like that brightness right now is missing from your scene, right? So you're not getting that that type of pop, that contrast in the image. So it's a matter of maybe taking your shadows down and then bringing your highlights up through like the ambient fill in your shadows going down a little bit, and then the brightness of the directional light going up. Of course, in here, like this is a concept, right? So it's maybe is albedo or light? What do you mean? So so the things I'm pointing out right now, this brightness here, this is the directional light that would be doing that. You can see as well, like if we erase these, like you can see there's this blob of light here, and then as the foliage goes into shadow, like all of this is pretty dark, and then you get this highlight again as it gets hit by the direct light. So brighten up the directional light will help with that. You can see as well that when you look up here and you look, I guess here, and then you look at yours, there's a brightness. Let me see here. So you can see how bright this is, and then the brightness of this. If you compare it here, these can definitely go brighter. And just doing that in your directional light should help. If you need to, you can adjust your roughness or your albedo on your roof tiles in order to push them up as well. But let's look at your. Yeah, you can see this is pretty light. These can probably be a little bit brighter in the albedo. Your foliage is definitely pretty dark. I don't know technically how bright this should be, but I think having it a little bit more consistent, like right now, this is feeling cooler than the rest of this temperature wise. So watching out for trying to keep those consistent because they're growing from the same plant is going to be important. And you can see the elements, how dark these are by comparison to the wall. You can see how much they're separating themselves from the wall because of that. Especially being in shadow, they're just going to be darker, right? So I would probably look at lightening up these details a little bit. As you can see, like the value difference, again, it's a concept, but the value difference between these two isn't all that different in shadow. But in here, there's such a contrast difference between these two. Bringing those closer together is going to kind of melt them together as one scene. It's working a little bit better here. And I think to get more depth, see where this door is in the frame, I would actually, instead of having it straight like this, I would push the frame in and then have the frame here and then have the door further in, because then you're going to get a nice shadow like you can see here, where this has got this nice inset, and it helps explain how stuff's put together. The things that are sticking out to me outside of this, let's just delete these, is things like, I'm just like, come on, erase. So there's this line being so straight. I would lean into the fact that this is quite organic in the concept and just use that to your advantage. So like take this, maybe turn it here, have the tile continue like this tile pattern continue this way. Then you've got these here. Oh, there's like a dithering effect that's happening here. That's kind of interesting. The next thing that sticks out to me is the transition from the road to the grass. I don't know what there isn't anything here. So if you want to do that, I would definitely work on this transition, which is going to be like grass being tall here and then becoming shorter and shorter as it falls off. Getting a mask to help you separate the color from the color of the grass from the road. I don't know what's causing it right now, but right now the foliage is a different color from the grass in the backdrop. So the grass is kind of feeling strangely lit or like unlit almost. Let me see what else we got going on in here. Yeah, you see in the albedo they're separated, but it might be just because of the angle of the light and the shadow that they're casting as well. Maybe the transmission's too high. There's a couple of different things that could be happening. This is quite interesting. The roughness of this versus here, for this versus that ivy, they're so different. I wonder. You don't really see it all that much, actually. I would try and maybe just make those more consistent. Rex, what's up? Thanks for the resub, man. These ones could maybe be darker, like in shadow, just for compositional framing. And then these mountains in the back here, I would probably push these back pretty heavily with fog, and I would get a shader on there that can, or some masks to blend between this material and this material, just so it's not so, like, it feels very simple back there right now. And I think you can go a long ways with just getting some fog to separate it out and just making it so we don't really even notice that it's back there. You have the shape language there, and then you're good to go. Our brain should just fill in the rest, if that makes sense. So the only other thing I would look at is figuring out how to get this feeling, this tuft, like little patchiness. You probably need a material that looks like this on your terrain. And then you can add these patchy spots in it. You can notice the color of the grass here and the color of your grass might be worth pushing it more towards this kind of like brownish color and letting the ivy be the color pop that you're looking for. The mud you did looks pretty good. This looks pretty nice. Watch out for clipping of foliage through wood pieces. If the wood is going to be like this, it's going to be really dark because it's super saturated with moisture, and because it's a really porous material, the albedo for the wood will become much darker and more saturated. So you'll get a separation of this from the mud. It's the same with what's happening with the mud. You can see how it gets darker around here. Overall, though, I'm liking this feeling. It feels really good. Trying to see what else we can gather from this. So imagine you're traveling this way and you've got your horse and whatnot, and like maybe you need to park your horse up somewhere and whatnot. You also have the problem of trying to, like I was highlighting, trying to solve the grass here, right? So maybe you should just have a thing that like horses tie up to, like a little trough thing here. Have the ground kind of reading to like horses that sit and wait. Maybe it's happening a little further back, so it's not coming out so far. Maybe all of the foot traffic for horses kind of sits here while they're waiting, and they've got their little thing they tie up to, and you can see all the footprints and stuff here. Maybe there's a little signpost thing here or something, just to like help transition to the environment. And then we just kind of clean this edge up, and you just have to have the language of travel in the terrain. Like this is really good what you've got going on here. So it's like getting this language, like you're doing it here as well. It's great. This is really good. Don't be shy with it. Just like, instead of this being so exposed like that, let the dirt go over it. It's okay to not see all of it, right? So you can like blend your terrain and like let the sand build up or dirt or mud kind of build up in the crevices and kind of melt everything together for you. It's going to take it a long ways. And from like a terrain standpoint, it'll feel more natural that way. Yeah, so there's a lot of logic that can kind of go into the how you think about the space. Like, think about if it were real or if you were traveling there, right? Um, yeah, the patchiness here will just add so much more character and interest than just like it's grass and then it's not grass, you know? And careful with like painting it in spots. Think about it as more like if there's an edge that's exposed like this, maybe not the whole length, but there's going to be a lot of like wetness and water that's going to build up there, and then it'll likely kind of continue where the water's trying to flood to, or where it's trying to go, and that's what kind of leads you into these paths, right? That kind of builds the language that basically says how the space is used and how it ages with time. But I mean, it's looking pretty nice. It's just a matter of like just continuing to push. I really like in the concept. I like these little puddles here. You can see even here the edge is broken. So as long as there's a semblance of a edge, your mind will understand how it was built and how it was put together, and then you're just like you're letting the environment kind of mix with itself in a sense. Like there's this stuff here too. Those are the types of details you're probably going to need some like a small like ruffled up burlap type materials or cloth that you can just kind of place in areas. like little bits of litter as well, or like small debris that you can just place in spots that kind of either feel forgotten or like areas where people don't necessarily clean up all the time. That's like something that can really push an environment to just feel more natural. Like the other thing you can see here is this edge. Let the grass go all the way up to it. We don't need to see the whole edge of it. I think it's totally fine. And having the grass kind of build up in here and maybe it grows into some of the cracks and stuff. You have little spots of grass. You're just placing a handful of those and instantly it feels much more natural and like they're interacting. But where's the bird poop? It's not time for the bird poop yet, man. Not time. Soon. But yeah, I think if I squint, the brightness is kind of there. It's very close. There's a lot of stuff going on over here. Yeah, I would get your ivy going up onto this just to help you deal with this straight line that's happening here. This is turning out great though. This is turning out really nice. Yeah. The shadows are more bluish in the ref. Yeah. And I mean, you can take the ambient color that is filling this, lower it a little bit, and add a little blue to it, because the blue is coming from the sky color, right? If it's not being lit by direct lighting, then it's going to be lit by the general color of the sky, which is basically a giant like rectangle light. Yeah, so it's just a matter of getting that contrast. But cool. I hope that was helpful. Felt like I was going through a bunch of stuff. Let me just make sure I covered all of your questions as well. Oh, when it comes to cloth, you can use, there's some really nice cloth sim as well in Blender. Doesn't necessarily need to be Marvelous Designer, and there is some good cloth brushes as well in ZBrush. So you have some options when it comes to that. Marvelous Designer is definitely going to be the cleaner of all of the simulations, but you do need to get a hold of it. And yeah, Blender's free. Is this the normal Unreal volumetric clouds? These ones? It doesn't look like it. This looks like a, do you see the curve here? This looks like a sphere. So I think it's spherical, like a HDRI. I could be wrong, but it feels like it. If you need these plants up close to be darker as well, you can put them in another lighting channel. It is a sphere. All right, cool. Yeah, you can put it in another. You see it all. You can put the foliage that's up close into another lighting channel and give it its own directional light and put that in its own lighting channel as well. And you can control how bright that light is, and that should make these darker or lighter depending. But yeah. The fact that you notice that, you don't see that? Dude, look at. There's a bit of a skewing going on, no? Maybe I'm crazy. Anywho, this is turning out really nice, and I think as long as you keep going, it's just gonna get better. Yeah, see, they just don't feel fully realized, and I think you can either try to make them fully realized, or you can just try and build in a way where you don't really notice them all that much. I mean, you could lower them as well, because right now, like, because they're so high up, it's kind of like you're in a bowl, right? Whereas if you lower those, now you start to become higher in elevation. And depth of field will help a lot as well if you have us focusing on the building and these are just kind of blurring out a little bit. I didn't mean to throw your Sky Dome under the bus, but you guys are funny. All right. We got Shokri next. But the mountain's always high. I know, but you can do whatever you want. So if you lower him, see how it feels. Like, you don't have to squish him. Just take the entire mountain and just bring it down. I don't know if there's separate meshes either, so that might be complicated. But cool. Let's go out of this and jump into Shokri's scene. Some progress from my scene. Japanese back alley of a restaurant. It ain't much, but it's honest work. I just wanted to share. Don't have any questions for now. Oh, bro. I can't tell if the cans feel large. Cans feel a little big, and none of them are open. But then I guess there's no bites in them, so pass me a plate, ma'am. Why are you doing this? It's 9 p.m. Dude, just go chew on some water. You'll be fine, Martin. Oh my god. Maru-san. Oh man. That's pretty good. Oh, that's pretty good. I'll take it. There's a there's a seam here. Really cool. Man takes bites out of cans. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I would say you're going pretty detailed here already, right? We zoom in here. So you're already getting quite a bit of props going on. I appreciate the grid materials being on here. It does make it a little hard to read the space. I think before you go into any more modeling of like the props that are around, is figure out how the layout of this back alley is, right? Because right now, let me see here. Can I simulate this? Right now, so you've got from top down, you've got a door that cuts in here. It goes along this way. It goes over here, it goes back, goes this way. There's like a little garage thing here. And then it goes, let's see here. Then it goes this way. Right? And then we're looking this direction. Okay? So, and it's pretty wide angle. We're seeing the door that's here. It's like a single door. And then that goes into some space back here. And then we got a garage that goes over here. Oh no. It's getting complicated. Hold. Okay. So we have all of that, right? But you're describing this as a Japanese back alley of a restaurant. So I guess they're bringing out their own stuff they're making, right? And that's all happening here. Forgive my drawing skills. Nailed it. There we go. Little seat here. as well. Then you got some AC units and whatnot. But what I'm talking about and what I'm interested in is the macro view. So right now the camera is here, right? But if this is a back alley, this garage, I feel like would expand. Like, it feels like it should continue, and then, but it needs to stop really soon because there's another building here, you know? And then I'm assuming there's probably another building or something here. Because, like, if this is back alley and it's in Japan, dude, it's going to be cramped, man. Like, alleys require buildings on both sides, you know what I mean? There probably can be, like, trash bins here, which gives you a little bit more room for where this can be. Oh, no. We're getting crazy. Okay, hang on here. Oh, no. Okay, I'll draw over it again. There we go. So then we have maybe the garage is going to be here instead. And any opportunity to give you some height variation is going to be good. So maybe let me just drag this in here. Can I just, please? Yo, let's go. Look at that resolution, guys. You guys are all amateurs by comparison of this res. Taking this and maybe raising it so the garage opens higher. You know, you have the little bumper thing here. I don't know if they do that in Japan. And then the truck goes up to it, right? It's so that the bed of the truck lines up with the space in the back. That's something you could do. But what I'm trying to get at is like the logic of how big this space is here just doesn't say Japanese back alley to me. You need to add some other elements in here that kind of like narrow it up a bit or make it feel a little bit more claustrophobic. Everything is also very like close to the wall when it comes to all the details that are here. And I feel like you need some more, like this is what I was doing in the trash can. You need some more like macro elements that kind of come forward. I mean, you were saying like an oil barrel thing, right? It's kind of in the same vein. It's getting something here that can just like take up the space, you know? Maybe some stuff stacked like these carton things here. Having those stacked up here against that, having some steam coming out of this. Maybe this is like a thing that keeps the building heated. So it's just these logics and like where things are at. Like it's good that there's a little lip here because you know there's like maybe there's like a thing of flooding. A lot of buildings, at least in New York or in the States, will put like a drain thing here. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that outside of doorways. I see it here in Malmo as well. It's like a grid, and there's it goes down maybe about that much, and it's just if there's rain happening and whatnot, it all goes in there, and then it goes wherever it needs to go. Or if there's flooding that's happening here, you just open the door and then it can flood into that and then dissipates. So it's like a water management type of thing. But think about what you can do with this ground and what will make this feel not so open, not so how do you say it? It feels unnatural right now for a Japanese back alley. Well, it's not necessarily empty, but as you build it out, you're going to find that you're trying to figure out what to do with this space. So you're going to be propping on it a lot. Like think about all the stuff you could do that isn't like large props on top of it. Once you figure out your macro shape, like maybe there's like a manhole type thing here, and all of the ground slopes. Like if you were to look at it from the side, all the ground slopes a little bit towards the center, so all this like center area would be a little wet. What's up, Andrew? So those are the types of details I'm thinking about when it's like, how do you break this all up? Like that manhole could be here, and then the slant of the ground helps you like figure out where puddles and wetness could be. The road color would be slightly different, or the asphalt color would be slightly different here versus here, and then this like core area would be a slightly different color, or like more white or chalky looking. You know, all the sediment kind of builds up as it streams down into that area. Anywho, I digress. I'm like tangenting into like just all the little details that you can utilize to push that information. But yeah, really cool. I think there was a few other images, right? God, those Maru cans are hilarious. Might be cool to have this be the backs of different types of buildings too. Some of more traditional Japanese architecture, where some lower buildings with like clay tile roofs. Oh, that's quite interesting. Like a mix of the old and new. You just want some of that food. I feel you. What's happening here? I don't get it. What does it mean? Oh, flip normals? I see. I'm like, I don't understand. Gross. I mean, dude, this shot. So if you were to just do this angle, maybe tilt it down a little bit so you can see the eating, and you just do the logic on the floor, this would be enough. Like, and it would still sell itself as like a bit of a back alley vibe. I might suggest saying that this building and this building are two separate buildings. So like either a gap between these or like two completely different like material types would really help like separate those. I assume you have a ton of reference. My appetite is ruined. But dude, way too much. Oh man. But yeah, I'm excited. Dude, this is a warped table too. I like that you think about these details. Hi, Nature. Bye, Nature. Drink a can of Mario-san. You'll feel way better. Dude, I believe it. I believe it. Okay, we have two other posts. So we got Hoity. Let's grab this. See what's going down. I hope that was helpful, Shokri. Oh, hang on. It says bless you. All right. Okay, where are we at here? Okay, hey, hello, Jeremy. I'm an environmental artist, and this is my latest project in Unreal. I'd love to hear your comments on the scene and what may have been done to make it better and progress as an artist generally. Okay, so it's like post. Oh man, there's a lot of detail here. This is cool. Oh man. So right off the bat, overcast is really hard to work with. Overcast lighting. Just so you know. The moment you don't have any directional lighting, it's like you have to like just work with basically an unlit scene that's like ambiently colored by a grayish sky. Man, this is a lot of stuff. How long did this take you? I'm just reading chat. I can't believe he got up. Oh, awesome. Remember the fake phone number. It's really important because any other phone number likely exists. So you got to use a fake one. Like if you try and call that, it might connect to something. Oh, getting some directional light in here. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Even just a little bit, even just a little bit helps. Northern Cottage. Oh, you got some nighttime scenes too. Okay, okay. It doesn't say free candy. Get out of here. Dude, you made me second guess what I read. Let's keep going here. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so this probably took you a while. 6 or 7 months. So if you want to be producing, like, especially when you're learning early, I think, or you're early in your learning process, definitely think about the scope or the scale of what you're working on, right? So I bet you learned a ton from this project, but it took you 6 to 7 months of experiencing to be able to then say, okay, it's done, and you can think about all the stuff you learned. Keeping it small and contained helps with the learning process. It actually will accelerate your ability to process and learn things, and you'll grow faster because of it. So what I wanted to say is like this shot in itself is like would be more than enough for a portfolio piece. The fact that you wanted to do this is really cool, but it does take a lot of time. I think that's probably the biggest thing you can take away from this, other than like the overcast lighting and dealing with like overcast. Overcast lighting is difficult. So you can see you're not getting a lot of volume in your foliage. So the definition and of like how to visualize the shapes that are there, it becomes difficult without a directional light or some like shadows that are helping define the shapes. This shot's pretty cool. I think so. There's some crazy stretching that's happening here, and then you've got a bit of foliage here that's kind of cutting the visual path, right? So if we let's see if we can like drag some of this stuff in here. We'll grab that one. Let me see what else we got here. This one actually I really like this shot. So it's got an inside and an outside. This one's good as well. We can highlight some core stuff there. After this, we'll look at one more piece, and then we'll probably be done with the stream because I'm going quite a bit deeper on your guys' pieces than I normally do. Usually we're looking at like semi-high level. Okay, let's oh yeah, and we need this big shot. Okay, so I don't think you need all of these angles. Like this one's quite interesting. This one I think is stronger. I don't think you need that one. This shot is really cool as well. You got some collapse stuff. Then you got an indoors shot. This one's quite interesting. Okay, so let's feedback on these shots, and we can kind of go off of that for like where you can improve in the future. So from a compositional standpoint, like we'll quit talking about the lighting stuff because like I think you get the pain and suffering of overcast. Compositionally, this is quite interesting. This, I guess the focus is here, so I'd be careful on how close this is. I would maybe move it over about that much. Like if you were to just kind of shift it, just to give you a little bit more room here. And then you've got this foliage that's happening here that's up nice and close. I would move all of that either away entirely or like really close to the edge, so it's only like happening maybe around here. Because you really want to keep this open. Like I would almost take this tree and like this branch and stuff, and use that for the stuff that's up close here. It actually will allow you to focus a little bit more on this wall and some of the smaller details around the base here. And then we can be looking here as the focal point. This is one of the main reasons I like this shot, though, is it's an interesting framing, and it just a little crowded in some areas. Now, the reason I like this one is this is kind of an angle you normally see someone actually takes a picture of a space like this, and you'll see like how it's like from this exact height, like it's a very familiar angle, right? If you ever want to get really dynamic with your composition, try and do an angle that you don't normally see, like either really low or higher up than you would normally be able to see with your own eyes. And those tend to be quite interesting or engaging. So adding more props would definitely help. So right now it looks like you're missing the detail propping pass. So you've got your like initial pass of the building, right? And then you've got basically what we would call this infrastructure. So you've got your infrastructure pass in. Then you get, maybe you need a door here, or like it needs to be boarded up. Figuring out how it's boarded up, like is it supposed to be functional or is it supposed to be permanently blocked? The way that you build that up will say a lot. Like you can board up haphazardly. Maybe there's a piece of wood on the other side, like compressed wood, and then some other wood pieces, and then you can put like a barrel here, right? Or a bunch of boxes and stuff that are just kind of piled up. So it's very clearly never been used since like it was covered up. So it became like this just isn't a door anymore, right? The other detail to think about is like how the foliage meets the buildings. So you've got grass that ends here, whereas what usually happens, especially when places are overgrown, is the grass will be long, right? But it'll be long around, like I call this, what did I call it before? It's kind of like a scale gravity thing. It's like, so infrastructure is permanent. You mow your lawn. The moment you're not mowing your lawn and it starts to grow, the grass that'll become longest first is going to be around the safety zone. I guess that's what I was calling it. It's like safety areas that are kind of difficult for you to mow unless you get like the weed whacker out to like cut the grass and detail around these. So like grass is going to be quite tall around these, and you're already kind of doing it here, like you're getting the language. But this like smaller grass leads up to it. So if you were to think about it from a side view, it's going to be doing this, and then it's going to like trickle down to like the standard grass height, right? And if it's really like forgotten and not mowed very much or cleaned up, you're going to get areas that are much taller, and that'll tend to give you a more natural feel. If people walk through here sometimes, maybe some of the grass would be pushed down or directionally kind of shoved, but not completely flat. And that can give you this kind of, you're like combing the grass in a way and thinking about like how it grows. Like these patches of grass, maybe there's a body under there, and that's just like, giving the grass all these nutrients. Or maybe it's like where the water naturally pools. When it rains, the water kind of pools up around these areas, and that's where the grass tends to grow up. And of course, there's like, I mentioned the body because it's storytelling. You got to get that storytelling in there. But that type of detail is going to be important for pushing the believability of the space. Some other things I wanted to point out in this shot is like these little patches of the darker green, like grass prop or piece. You just want to try and unify or kind of evenly disperse the detail. So I think making these lighter would really help in like just kind of unifying the grass itself. Combine that with like height variation, you're in for like a nice bump in quality. Anything that you can do to kind of break up the pattern here would be nice. So it looks like there is like a made up, like a makeshift storage space here. So there's maybe going to be some boxes in here, or metal containers. Maybe it has like a cloth over the top, and then maybe another container here and another one here. Maybe some like stuff leaned up against it, some tools that are normally used. It's like getting that kind of detail to help explain what is this space for? Like what was this building for, you know? You're definitely looking at reference because this is quite intriguing. I think you only get those when you start to understand or you're trying to imitate details that you're seeing on from references. This is a great idea. I think pushing this a little bit further with the sheet metal being slightly different colored between all of the general pieces and just kind of pushing the kind of aging and the rust. Like this being folded over like this, like there'd probably be some like pretty gnarly dripping action going on here down the side of this just from the rust buildup and like this under area being like a safe haven for just like muck and buildup. This was kind of intriguing to me. I don't know what that's about. I guess those are like big wood beams. I think this probably needs to be about half the thickness, just so it's more of a 2x4 vibe. And I don't know if it would be uneven like that, because that would mean that the wood pieces were cut uneven to begin with. And then from there, kind of like placed, but never cleaned up. I don't know. There's not really a logical way to just explain why it's like that. You've got some light wrapping, it looks like here. You can see where it's like it's light here, but then dark here. And it almost looks round. And I think that's your smoothing. So it's like if you were to sample or cut this in half, it probably looks like this, right? And you're probably, I'm going to draw these, imagine these are normals. You're probably smoothing this entire thing, so it's all soft. But this, you probably need to have the normals facing like this instead of these corners. Because right now the normals are trying to calculate all the way around. So any lighting that hits the top wraps all the way around. So like smoothing wise, these need to be split basically. So this is its own smoothing group. This is its own smoothing group, and these are its own. Don't be scared to bevel. It looks like this one's correct, so I don't know what's going on. But that was like the gut feeling on it. Yeah, it does feel like it's missing a propping pass. This view is actually quite intriguing, and I think it's because you see the inside here. I would be hesitant to have too much overgrowth inside other than areas where there's like a lot of lighting. I would put some like larger props in here to just like explain a space. Like what was this used for? What's stored in here? You know, did a vehicle always used to drive up here? Did they recently drive up here? They're circular beams. That feels strange to me. Because for construction like this, they wouldn't be circular. I can see it now too, now that you're mentioning it though. The other thing too is like when these meet, like whether this is circular or not, figuring out how to like connect these, that way it logically makes sense how the stuff's put together, goes a long way. Compositionally, let's see here. You've got some stuff going on here. This is nice with the breakup on the back with the foliage. A tree here. So up here you get this tree, and then it looks like there's maybe another tree here. I would take that tree and either lower it or raise it. Probably lower it, just because compositionally it's just going to be more interesting than just doing this shape. You just exaggerate it a little bit by pushing one of the trees down a little more. This shot's more about understanding what the space is for, making this inside. Oh yeah, I see it now with the big bolt. So they wouldn't build this way because this would not. So if this is okay, so imagine this is load bearing, right? Everything is putting weight on this. This beam is actually not doing anything except adding weight to this beam. So something to think about. These things too, like watch out for really straight lines. I'd look at barns and see what they do, because usually they will build another floor up above and have like it's for like storage, like you put hay up there or whatnot. And so if you imagine, like, let's say that this is the ceiling above you, and you cut a hole here, and then you can put props on top up above, and then this hole here allows you to see this cut. So thinking in layers and like understanding the structural integrity of like how things are put together is going to be important. And then I wanted to just highlight like adding detail propping around this area, explaining like right now you've got a straight line here. If you can put something here, like a box, or it just helps us put the scene together a little bit, right? And kind of understand and breaks the shapes up a little bit more. The ground having some like either tracks in here or footprints. I really like what you're doing here, and this feels really good with the rocks. I would maybe keep the rocks to the sides and have very few of them in the core here. Or if you do have them, that they're not sticking up too much, because then it becomes a hazard for no reason. This one's really cool. It does feel like there should be some pooling of water in here and maybe some like overgrowth, because I don't know how long ago this happened. Yeah, there could be some drippage here, especially where this meets. You're gonna get like the rust kind of coming down the wall here. This looks super unsafe. I would almost tilt this and just let the whole thing kind of be bending on its own. These breaks feel a little strange. Maybe if they were a little bit longer. Let me think here. Actually, sorry. If there was weight here and it broke, the fracturing is going to happen on the base to be longer. So it would probably be more like something like this. And then these all being even is a little strange. If there was maybe a way to like take this one, and maybe this one's super long. This type of language would help a lot. This line right here is really straight. Anything you can do to like bend this would help a lot with, I think, with the kind of haphazard or like aging vibe of it. Just dirtying this up a bit more. I think it's okay that these are hard edged like this. I just need to understand how stuff is put together, and like, yeah, see how this is on the side? That would definitely be here instead. And then connected that way, And then depending on how long ago this fell would change like how much foliage has grown around it. Maybe there's some like holes in the metal that have rusted, and then there's like grass kind of coming out of that. Some overgrowth. Anything to help ground this a little bit more, like getting grass in front of that, it's going to really help. Or like any types of small plants or those types of details. Maybe a can that's tipped over, like a barrel from the stuff collapsing down. This looks like it got blown off though, because it was over and then it's like a hurricane or something. This shot is really cool. I just wanted to highlight the feeling of this. Oh, whoops, hang on here. The feeling of this curve is a little strange to me, but maybe you have some reference for it, and I'm just like not seeing it. Back here feels okay, but this one's quite high, and it's really bubbled. Only other thing I would do is maybe add more trees and use the fog to kind of separate out things in layers. And of course, the smaller propping, like there's like this vehicle's here. I wonder if they're like, it says construction, so I'm gonna assume they're getting ready to do stuff. See, putting stuff here, oh man, there's so many things you could do. Think about how the property would be used, right? And that'll give you a lot of stuff to work with. And then with this one, again, I think it was, the reason I wanted to bring this in here is because right now you have this clear path that's happening here, but then it's all being blocked by this foliage. So it's like this line of sight breaker. So you lose the composition, whereas these lines are helping lead your eye. Cleaning those up and then maybe removing the foliage that's causing this stretching pattern would do a lot. What would you do? What would you do to make the lighting more interesting if you had to use overcast? It's really difficult lighting, so I'm curious how you would handle it. So in a static scenario like this, you can't really do much about it. I mean, maybe you push your ambient a little bit further so that the inner areas become even more shadowed. So you really lean into like areas that are covered become even more dark than normal, right? So like for example, this scene, this space in here should be quite a bit darker, just because of how little light is coming down. The other thing you could do is you could rely on roughness to try and help you pop details. So like, let's say it's raining and all the surfaces upward facing are quite wet. If it was a video or like you were just having, you were doing a video, you could have like lightning going off, which could illuminate or highlight things temporarily. And then rain hitting stuff helps you kind of just break up the scene a little bit more and give you some understanding of the depth. The other thing is fog will help you with depth, right? So if you're having a hard time with separation of elements, this happens even during direct light. But using fog to separate stuff, like you can see that this tree is in front of this tree. But I think if you were to go even further, like get this building to separate from these buildings because of the fog, and do like 3 or 4 layers, that'll do a lot. Right now, it almost feels like there's no atmosphere in here, except out here. So bringing it forward will help. Getting some height fog maybe to like fill in this area could be really cool. You're doing a little bit here, but it's very patchy. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. Just kind of going deeper into these. There's also a breakdown. So this helped a lot, by the way. Having a lower like sunrise phase like helps with, you see how much darker it is in these spaces. So nice. Let's see here. All right, so we got materials. The material presentation is pretty nice. I don't know if you need to show all of it. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, that's really nice. Oh. Cool. Oh, you made the vehicle too? Dang, dude. Yeah, this is nice. There's a lot of technical stuff in here, which is great. It shows like how you're thinking about stuff. Ooh, look at that, dude. What? Those are projected as well? Interesting. Nice. Dude, cool. Some interesting approaches to stuff. Like I would probably build that into the shader. Aha. Yeah, so this is probably just a little too blobby. What I was saying about the rust is I would probably build that into the... Where are we at here? Oh, nice. Dude, this stuff's really cool. Was it this one? Yeah. So I would probably build this into the UVs or like give it a mask to do this. So that way you don't have to be manually placing, but it's more about speed than really anything. I mean, maybe because it's projected decals, those can get pretty spendy. I have some good stuff in here though. Oh man. Dude, sick. Yeah, some nice controls that you've got going on here. Yeah, so I think it's more about the general construction of things and like from a physical grounded standpoint, those things will help improve a lot of things. Oh, just as a heads up in your recording, so you can see you've got OBS here. Just a little side tip. If you go into the settings of this, you can actually hide OBS from ever rendering inside of its own recordings. So this will never pop up in the video. But really cool. Okay, we got one more, and then I'm going to get out of here. Got this scene, which I think the feedback that we gave on the previous post applies here quite a bit. That light is very low. So the color of the light should probably be a warmer color. Let's see here. So overall, really interesting, cool looking scene. I think it's more about, oh, this shot's really cool. I would maybe like even move some stuff out of the way so you can get a better shot at like approaching this. Maybe the opening of this is just wider. But I would rely on the fog to help separate these elements so that you can read the space a little bit easier. So you can spatially understand what's in front and behind. The foliage is quite dark. Really bright and contrasty. Yeah. There's some nice detail on the ground. It's more about like it's missing the foliage pass, if you want to say it like that. Or like the detail pass. All the propping is there. It maybe is even a little dark in the materials. There's some colors that are a little bit invalid, like this green feels a little too saturated for PBR. This shot's really cool. So for the trees in the back, you've got this wobble that's happening. If you're not interested in building trees, it is totally okay to use tree packs that exist online. Just because like maybe you're wanting to focus on this stuff and like, but yeah, if you're wanting to build trees right now, this is really wobbly. I'm not quite sure what type of tree this is supposed to be. So you'd probably want to straighten that out and figure out where the branches start and stop. There's like a language that happens with trees as well, like, and like the kind of life of them. So of course, so let's straighten these out, right? And then where these branches are, at some point they stop, right? So they stop somewhere, but before they stop, like of course you've got the healthier ones, but where they stop, you're gonna have like branches that have broken or like little twigs that are sticking out that used to be branches. And there's like this whole cycle of like the most dead and broken ones to like a little bit more intact, but are old or dead. And then they start to transition into the younger ones and then the really healthy ones. So there's this whole language that happens as you go up a tree. Something to think about if you're the one authoring these. Yeah. Otherwise, I think compositionally, I really like that there's this path here. This is actually my favorite shot. So you get this sense of a path. You get this opening here. This is the focus, so that's really nice. You got some nice natural breakup. There's some steps on the side here, which is cool. This happens here and then pops out. I would maybe take these tiles and maybe help lead more towards the focus. This light ray, I would probably go higher if you want it to be there. And if there's trees in the way, we can't even see those trees. So just kind of push those trees out of the way, and they'll let the light through. Yeah, so you got this whole thing going on. This is really nice. I'm sorry I made it look like a melted candle. And then really lean into the fog. That way we understand that these elements back here are further behind this tower, right? And it'll help us understand the distance between things. And then do not forget to add like the smaller details, like where's all the grass and the like smaller rocks and stuff. You're starting to get there with these. And think about like the paths people walk and how that would change the color or the texture of the ground. Doesn't have to be extreme, but slightly different will help depict or tell you where things are going. Because it looks like you can go, you're walking this way, and then you can go this way up these stairs. You can go up these stairs, go this way, or you can continue walking and go over here. So making it feel like there's these paths, and they're maybe not too organized just because of how old or dilapidated it is. That's something to think about for sure. Yeah, yeah, and the path that you're walking being a brighter material, always think about what is the material and what happens to the material as it gets walked on a lot. Is it actually brighter, or is it like, or is the details becoming smaller because it gets broken into smaller pieces? Like, was it all sticks and wood and stuff like that, and then it gets stepped on a lot and broken? It turns into more like micro surfaces. They dry out faster because they're smaller pieces, which makes them look lighter or more like chalky. It's those types of things that are gonna go a long way for you in understanding the space and like how to put things together in a way that feels natural, but you can lean into to give you the directionality. Let me see if I can. I really like this composition though. This shot right here. I think you just need to get some light on the stairs so we can see the stairs, and then maybe some light on the fence here. And then this just needs to pop out from the rest of the environment. So like, and you're already doing that pretty well, I think. And yeah, remember you can use this light too. Like if it's coming down this angle, you get some shadow casting and maybe some light here. But remember, you can use that lighting to also like pop some of these other elements out. If you want some highlights here, let me see if there's any other. You can maybe get some light casting over here so you can get the hit on the stairs, because that'll help you understand like the path you're on, and maybe get some dappled light, where you have like the path is lit, but it's broken up a lot by shadows from the trees, and get really cool looks to that. And yeah, everything points here. I think compositionally, I would go with this shot and not worry about any other angles. Just make this one look good. You had some light hitting the tombstones on the right, but it was dragging too much attention. I get that. I get that. Maybe if like right now the light is hitting this so hard that maybe having these like little highlights or some of these things getting touched by the lighting isn't so much of a attention distraction. I don't know. I would play with it a little bit and see what you can do. The fog might also be a good way of just controlling the depth and distance between things. But yeah, cool. Cool. All right, I think it is time to get out of here. Imagine you're saying beer, but with a V instead of a B. Veer. Veer. All right. Yeah. All right. I will try and remember that. Yeah, dude, definitely look at Ghost of Tsushima. There's some environments that are exactly like that scene. But no, I appreciate you guys coming by, hanging out, having some stuff to critique. We were able to go quite a bit deeper into these because of the amount of stuff we had. So that was really nice. I think maybe even a little bit more value out of it. But okay, I guess I'll see you guys on Thursday. I'm gonna continue working on my like feedback list of stuff that you guys had. Tomorrow, of course, I haven't been streaming on Mondays, but I will be looking at blueprints. I love you too, Ibby. All right, I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll see you in the Discord. Bye, guys.